How can you truly qualify as a top-tier fighter, never mind an all-time great, when you have on multiple occasions shamelessly leveraged your fame and fortune to blatantly sidestep dangerous adversaries? Full disclosure, I am not a Canelo Alvarez fan. I also, however, was not an Eminem fan, at least not initially, but by the end of his career, Marshall Mathers had done enough to convince not only myself, but the overwhelming majority of knowledgeable rap fans that not only was he one of the greats, but arguably the most skilled lyricist to ever touch a microphone. Back to Canelo. I believe Canelo to be an exceptionally talented fighter with a handful of impressive victories to his name. And to his credit, he was able to quickly parlay his raw talent and his uniquely unassuming appearance into a large cult-like following and a small fortune. Unfortunately, somewhere along the line, people began to misconstrue his wealth and popularity for greatness and invincibility, all the while conveniently disregarding his painfully obvious pugilistic shortcomings. So I'm hoping this video will serve as a reminder. Here are the 5 reasons why I humbly maintain that Canelo Saul Alvarez is not, I repeat, is not an all-time great. When Canelo has faced the elite fighters in his division that are in or close to their respective primes, he tends to come up short. Admittedly, you have to take the defeat versus Floyd with a grain of salt. After all, we are talking about one of, if not the single greatest fighter of all time in Floyd Mayweather. But the fact remains that Floyd made him look incredibly amateurish, if not outright foolish. And if you're prepared to cite the fact that Saul was not yet in his fighting prime when that fight took place, one could easily counter that point with the fact that at 36 years old, neither was Floyd. Example number 2, his fight with Gennady Golovkin, which by most accounts, Canelo lost. Again, he faces the man to beat in the division and Canelo could not dominate. The third example is Dimitri Bivol. Not much to say here except that Bivol was again the best in the division and he beat Canelo fairly easily. Those are 3 examples to support and substantiate my first reason, which again is that anytime Canelo challenged the best guys in the division, he falls short. In my mind, an essential quality of an all-time great fighter is the unequivocal and unwavering willingness to test themselves versus the best the sports has to offer. Because how can you truly qualify as a top-tier fighter, never mind an all-time great, when you have on multiple occasions shamelessly leveraged your fame and fortune to blatantly sidestep dangerous adversaries? Whether we like it or not, the irrefutable reality is that Canelo conveniently danced around that Triple G fight for 3 years before finally succumbing to the public pressure. Any and every impartial observer will confirm that he wanted 0 parts of Gennady. And almost as if to confirm the legitimacy of the phrase, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, Canelo is currently repeating identical smoke-ducking shenanigans with David Benavidez. Again, there is no way to circumvent the painfully obvious reality that Canelo has avoided David Benavidez for the past 3 years and wants 0, I mean 0 parts of the Mexican monster. Okay, so we'll make this one quick. Canelo has at least 3 fights where you could objectively argue he was gifted a decision. The fight with Lara, which most people felt was either a draw or maybe even Lara won. The first fight with Triple G, which most people felt Triple G won and Canelo got the decision. And the second fight with Triple G, where most people felt that it could have been a draw or Triple G won and Canelo got the victory. I realize this is a controversial topic because it's somewhat tricky to truly substantiate claims of an athlete knowingly engaging with banned performance-enhancing substances. Yet, according to various sources, the facts are that in 2018, as a contract stipulation for Canelo's rematch with Triple G, both fighters agreed to be randomly tested by the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association. At some point during those tests, Canelo Alvarez tested positive for the steroid clenbuterol. Now, Canelo's team immediately attributed the findings to eating contaminated meat in Mexico. And while that seems like a rather convenient, far-fetched excuse, the truth is, I don't know whether or not Saul willingly took steroids. What I do know, however, is that this sort of physical transformation seems entirely unusual, if not altogether suspicious. And last, but certainly not least, when you think of the greatest super middleweights of all time, you can easily name 5 guys in front of Canelo. Roy Jones, Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Joe Calzaghe, and yes, David Benavidez. Allow me to reiterate. Reason number 1, Canelo has performed poorly against top fighters traditionally. Reason number 2, Canelo has undeniably avoided dangerous opponents. Reason number 3, he has multiple fights where it appeared he was gifted decisions. Reason number 4, he tested positive for steroids. Reason number 5, when you ponder his name amongst the greats, in my mind, Canelo is nowhere to be found. And reason number 6 is, as far as I can tell, there seems to be an inherent level of reckless abandon which serves as a foundational attribute of all-time greats that Canelo Alvarez simply does not possess. It's not only the ability, but the willingness to ascend to a really dark place in that square circle where the future is really uncertain, but you go anyway. Yet time and time again, we've seen Canelo in fights where the outcome was somewhat up for grabs or he was in the lead and his opponents appear to be fading. But somehow, inexplicably, Canelo was unwilling and reluctant to go in for the kill. You saw it in the fight versus Miguel Cotto, which by the way was a lot closer than people like to think. You saw it versus John Ryder. You saw it in the 3rd fight with Gennady Golovkin. And you also saw it in the fight with Charlo. Again, these are clear opportunities that Canelo had to seize the moment and show us once and for all what he's truly made of. All of this having been said, assuming Canelo finally gives in to the public outcry and accepts a fight with David Benavidez, dominates him thoroughly or even knocks him out, then we have a different conversation on our hands. Until then, I stand by everything I said in this video. Thank you for watching.